So in this lab, we're gonna add two numbers. We're gonna create variables. We're gonna create the scanner. Use the scanner to put the data, the input that the user is entering from the console to our program. The user is gonna use the keyboard, correct, to enter the data, and our job is capture the data, the input, and save that in our variables using the scanner as we did in class. Okay, so let's gonna start from scratch. Assume that you have a program that allow that the first method is enter a number. So you enter a number, for example, the number 3, enter another number, you enter a number 65. And when you press enter, it displays the addition is 59. Okay, it's a simple program, right? A simple program to add any numbers, right? So you can type 4, 20, whatever, and the program have to display, the result. 78, 86, correct? Okay. Now your job is create a program to do this simple task, add a number. Okay, how can we're gonna do that? Okay, we're gonna start from scratch and code this simple program. Okay, so first thing, let's gonna understand this program. So let me copy this one here. Okay. What's happening here? The program is going to display enter a number, right? The user is going to type any numbers and press enter. So what is your job? Remember, your job is capture, in this case 78, but could be any numbers, okay? Whatever number the user want to type. Okay, in this case is 78. Your job is receive, store the 78 in a place in the computer memory, right? This place in the computer memory is gonna be called variables, like containers to receive the data. Okay, so let's gonna put here one container that we're gonna call n1. Okay, so in this container, your job is, see, shapes. Your job is, put the 78 here, correct? And you have to create another variable, for example, n2, okay, to capture the second number. Okay, in this case, what is the value for the second number? It's number 8, correct? But again, it could be whatever the user want to type, correct? So your job is store the number 8 there, correct? And so if you store the data in variables, you're going to be able to manipulate the data, because each container have a name, right? What is the name for the first container? n1. What is the name for the second container? n2. Okay, so your job in this case, so your program, your logic that you have to develop in this case is add those numbers, correct? And display the result here. Okay, so always you're gonna need an additional variable. So variable for the input, in this case the input, the user enter two values, 78 and 8, and you're gonna have an additional variable, an additional container to store the result of the operation. Okay, so in this case I'm gonna call that end result. Okay, and what is your job here? Your job is add those numbers, correct? So 78 plus 8, but it could be 80 plus 2, or 100 plus 3, or 2 plus 200, right? Okay, so you don't know which date is gonna be here, but you know the name of the container. Okay, this is the critical point here to understand variables. So you are going to use the variables. You don't know what is inside, but in programming you can perform formulas, calculation with the name of the variables. And because internally you know that the computer captures the data in the variables. And then your job is going to be create the formula, correct, to compute, in this case, the addition. Okay? But now, how can we're going to link, how can we're going to capture the data that the user is typing and store that in our variables? This is where we're going to use the scanner, correct? So we're going to use always in our program the scanner. So let's going to start coding. New Java main class. At this point, everyone has to know how to create project program, right? Adding numbers. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna delete some stuff to get more room to code. Okay. As I told you, good best practice is a main method and adding number class. Okay. And what is your first step when we're going to start coding now? It's use the scanner. So you have to memorize that and practice and know that every time that you're going to create a program, you have to import the scanner. Import java.util.scanner. Scanner. Scanner. Okay. Finish with the statement terminator always. Correct? So always you have to do that. Okay? So you have to memorize that. You have to practice. So immediately you're going to add the scanner. As I told you, we're going to add more logics every week. So you have to know really well what we did the first and second week from now. Okay? So now your job is going to be, for example, create the scanner. Scanner input equal new scanner system.in. So what means system.in is that we're going to use the scanner to receive the data from the keyboard. System.in means that the scanner is going to be linked to the keyboard, that the scanner is going to be able to read data from the keyboard. Okay, and this is the way that we create the scanner. You have to remember that, okay, and repeat many times so you're going to be able to create a scanner really quick. Okay, then what happened? We need to declare the variables. Okay, so immediately you identify your input here, okay, and identify that you need another variable to keep the result of the operation. Okay, you have to start coding there these variables, integer and num1, and always initialize to 0. Remember that I told you at the beginning the variable have like garbage, so we need to clean that. Following our coding standard, we need to declare the variables. In num1 we are declaring variables and assigning an initial value that is called initialize. We are initializing our variable num1 to 0. Okay, the same thing with num2, and the same thing for n result. Okay, then okay, what is next? Okay, now your logic. Okay, your logic. Okay, so first things, the program have to say enter a number, right? Everyone know how to display, correct? How to display a message with system.out, right? Now we want to display enter a number, and I want to allow the user to enter the data next to the message. So you don't have to use print line, you have to use print, right? Okay, so I don't want to explain you what means print and print line. Okay, you have to know that. I just telling you why I gonna use print and print line. Okay, so you know that you have to use print, enter a number, correct? And now, when the user enter a number, we have to save the data in our variable n1. Okay, now we're gonna use the name of our variable and the statement terminator and the scanner, always. So how can we gonna capture the data? Okay, you wanna store the data in which variable? In num1, correct? Okay, perfect. So type in num1, okay? And you are gonna assign 78 in this case, right? That data that the user is entering, correct? Okay, you're gonna assign. Okay, to assign data to your variable, you have to use the assignment operator. Okay, this is the assignment operator. Okay, now you want to assign what? Whatever the user is typing here. Okay, now this is the turn for the scanner. What is the name of your scanner? Input. Correct? And now your scanner is gonna capture the integer, correct? This is an integer, right? 78, right? So the trick for the scanner is that you have to know which data you're gonna receive. n1 is gonna hold integers, right? Correct. So the scanner have to capture integers. So you have to type input, the name of your scanner, and then type data. And sorry. And then you have to select, in this case, next int, because the data that you are wanna store in the container in your variable is an integer. If you wanna store double, you have to select next double. Remember, if you have to store a string, you have to select next. If you wanna select a string, including white spaces, you have to select next line, right? Okay, so in this case, next int. Okay, now what happened? When the user enters 78 and press enter, the scanner is gonna capture the integer and hold or store that in the variable n1. So we complete the first step here. What is next? The user is gonna see the next message, enter another number. Okay, so now let's gonna enter another number, correct? Again, print, because I wanna display the message and allow the user to enter the data just next to the message, not in the next line, just in the same line. Okay, and what is the name of our variable? n2. Again, n2 is gonna receive the data. You're gonna assign the data to n1. So n2, sorry. So n2, you're gonna assign to n2 what? Use the scanner input next int. Okay, as you see, we're gonna repeat, okay, this instruction in every program that we're gonna code. All the programs must have a scanner, must have variable, must have message to receive the data. Correct? So this is something that you have to know really well. Okay? How to display message and receive the data in our variables with the scanner. Okay? After receiving that data, now is your job to develop your logic. Okay, your logic in this case is, okay, I have the data in the variables n1 and n2. Now, what do I have to do with those variables? In this case, the user wanna display what? The addition of the number, correct? Okay, if you wanna compute the addition of those numbers, what do you have to do? You have the data in variables, right? Okay, your job, if you wanna add those numbers, is add n and 1. You don't know what is n and 1? I don't care about that. Okay, Java is receiving that. I don't know what is n and 2. The only that I know is that I received the first number in the variable n and 1, and the second number in the variable n2. So your job now is use the variable end result, correct? And assign which values. Remember, assignment operator. We're going to assign whatever we write here to this variable. So we're going to assign what? And num1 plus and num2. Whatever I have in num1, whatever I have in num2 are in my variables. I'm going to add those variables and store the result of this addition in the variable end result. Okay, so now what is your job? Your job is display the message. The addition is, in this case, 86, but could be whatever, right? So the first part is easy. Display the text, the string. The addition is. The addition is. Correct? Okay. And now we're going to use concatenation that we used the first week. Okay? So this is a text, right? So you're going to display this message. The addition is. And you're going to display here the result, right? The number. And in which variable you have the result? In the variable end result. So you're going to use concatenation instead of to type, for example, 86, correct? Text by a number, okay? You don't want to display 86 always, right? Because the data can change. The user can enter 80 and 6, but the next time can enter 120, correct? This is the reason why we use variables, and end result is going to keep the result of the addition. So you have to display here end result. Correct? And let's gonna run the program. Run file. Enter a number. I'm gonna type, for example, 3, 5. The addition is 48. Correct? Okay. So this example, okay, you have to review this example and do that by yourself. I recommend you to hide the solution and code that by yourself. If you are able to code this program, you can proceed for our next lab that convert feet to inches, inches to centimeters. Okay, first understand and do this lab by yourself without seeing the solution. Hide the solution. Okay, hide the solution. Create a new class. Okay, adding numbers 2, for example. Okay, and declare the scanner. Use the scanner. Declare your variables. Do everything that we did in our lab. If you are able to do that, you can proceed with the next lab. If not, repeat that. You just keep this step, okay, because you don't have time. What happens next? Next class, when I add selection, when we add conditions in our programs, you are not going to be able to continue. If you don't study that, when I add repetition loops, okay, when we want to repeat and repeat our programs until we meet some condition, you are going to be totally lost. So I need you to study. Okay, so what you have to do is practice. As I told you, hide the solution and code that by yourself. The same thing with the other lab, to convert feet to inches and inches to centimeters. Hide the solution and code that by yourself. When you finish that, you are ready to proceed with the homework. Don't skip those steps. If you follow my instruction, you are going to learn a lot and you're going to pass the class with a big A. I want that, okay? I'm going to do my job and you have to do your job. and we're gonna work together. Okay, so just to finish, here in class we did something. I remember we incorporate like strings, right? To receive, for example, here, enter your name, remember? And then you display, hi, Omar, for example. You know, the addition is 48. So we're gonna receive, the first line in our program now is gonna be a message prompting for your name. Enter your name. Okay, then you need a variable to receive the name. So what about if I declare int and name? Is that correct? The name, it's a number or it is a text? It's a text, right? So your container, okay, the container that you have to use to receive a name have to be to receive a text and a string. So you have to use now a string container. And following our coding standard is name. Okay? And you have to initialize to double quotation mark, not to 0, when we declare string variables. Okay? And what is next? So you're asking, enter your name, right? And now you have to use the scanner, correct? So you're gonna store, save the name in which variable? Is name, right? So the same thing that we did, is name equal. We're gonna assign with the assignment operator, okay, the name to the variable's name. And how can do that? How can we do that? Using the scanner. Input that next. Okay. If I enter your name, Omar, number 4, number 5, perfect. That worked, right? But as we did in class, if I enter Omar with my last name, Toledo, error. What happened? Mismatch a section, input mismatch a section. It's what happened here. If you read my presentation, you're gonna notice that if you use input that next help us to capture a string, but it's gonna finish to capturing the string when it detects a white space. In this case, I type Omar white space Toledo. So as immediately it detects the white space, it's gonna say that the data, the string that you're gonna say is just Omar, and this is another variable. So what's happening next? When you display the message, enter a number, you're gonna try to receive Toledo and store that in a container for integer. So you have input mismatch a section. So in order to save this problem, you have to use input that next line. Okay? Next line. What happened with next line? Next line is gonna capture the whole line, even if you enter white spaces. Let me test that. Run file. Enter your name, Omar Toledo. That works. Okay, so student, I hope this video helped you to remember that we did in class. Okay, this week is critical because you need to understand and learn really well about the scanner, variables, concatenation, use constant. In my second video, there is a video for when we convert inches to centimeter, feet to inches. No, okay. So follow the steps that I state in this video. Please watch this video, understand everything. If you don't understand that, you are free to mail me, okay? During the week I'm not available, but you can email me from Monday to Friday and I'm gonna answer your emails. Okay, so email me, practice. You have enough material now to practice, to learn that we are doing in class. Follow my instruction. Repeat this lab, hide the solution and code that until you are able to finish that without seeing your notes. When you do that, you are ready to continue. And you're gonna learn and you're gonna succeed. You're gonna pass with a big A in this class. Okay? I hope this video helped. Thank you.